Morning, everyone. It is January 28th, 2023, and I'm Reed with the Drunken Bull Ranch, and we're going to continue our video of the chicken coop. I've made a few improvements, so I figured I would show you guys those. Okay, alright, so as you can see, this is the inside of the chicken coop. And if you look on the top of that feeder right there where that bucket lid is, that is a bunch of bird poop. So what we had is we had openings in the top of the run here, right there where I put down that, let me point at it. So between this 2x4 right here and this tin for the roof, there was a gap right here. So what I did was I took some of that lumber that was left over from the siding, this siding here, and I cut it down into strips and just stapled it up there to fill that gap. Now the other thing is when I built this thing, I left that gap between the tin and the 2x4. And if I back up, let's see here, zoom in a little bit. I think you can see it. Yeah, now you can see that there's chicken wire up in there, so the birds can't get in. Okay, so then if we continue around here, sorry, my finger's getting in the way, I'm filming this on my cell phone. I did the same thing down this side to fill that gap. All the way down to the end here. And then on the back side here, I just wrapped it all with chicken wire, because the board that I would have stapled to is way up inside there. So we just added chicken wire, but this area here was just open to the world, and all of those birds could get in there. Now, I probably should have done this when I built the chicken coop, because we could have had a skunk or a raccoon or some other critter that got in there and got to the chickens. But it's worked up until now. We haven't had any trouble that way. I nailed this piece right there in, or stapled it, because the chicken wire wasn't working out really good. There was nothing on the top to attach it to. But that pretty much is wrapped in that area. And as you can see, all that's in there is chickens. We literally had hundreds of little birds that would go in there and just eat all the chicken feed. And I haven't filled that feeder up yet, but I don't know if you can see it or not. It is completely empty. And I filled it, I want to say 2 days ago. And they cleaned it out. The other little improvement that I made, I'm going to show you this, is this guy right here. I built a little handle. So when you open this up, you can pull this open. It's just a rope that, I tied a couple of knots in either end. And kind of just a cheap fix, because these doors were getting a little hard to open. I might have to readjust that one a little bit. But yeah, so just drill 2 holes and run a rope through it and tie a knot. Come around here to the other side. Now, the tools that I used for this little adventure, just a little Porter cable staple gun. Bought it a couple of years ago. It's been a pretty good tool. The downside is you got to have an air hose to run it, which you can see the air hose right there. The air hose is actually attached to our little rigid pancake compressor It's a 6-gallon, 150 psi. I mainly keep it around for blowing up tires, doing things like that, but it works good for these little projects. Hi, Susie. Anyway, so yeah, those are the tools that I used. I mean, I used a skill saw to cut the lumber, but it's just a little Milwaukee skill saw. I did this handle as well because when I built it, I didn't consider snow, and snow would build up on that step right there, and then the door didn't want to open, and so I put that handle on there so we could pull that door open. I did another handle for this access panel here, and yeah, one thing that I noticed when I was out here, and I don't know if it was this fine little girl right here or some other animal, but this chicken wire right here was being pulled away, and so animals were going to be able to get in there soon, and so I reattached that. I walked around the coop and made sure that there wasn't any other openings like that. I'm betting that it was probably the dog, because you can't teach a dog not to eat chickens, it seems like. So yeah, that's the improvements that we did chicken coop recently. I'm filming my hand there, and so yeah, hopefully that keeps the birds out and we're not having to keep feeding the little Tweety birds. I figure that with what they were eating, I'm gonna say it was costing us about $150 in feed every month and a half. It was a lot of birds, but as you can see now, they are not in there, and I want to say they're out by the pig pen out there. But yeah, it was getting really expensive to feed those birds. All right, well, there is our video for today. As always, support your local farmers. Have a good weekend.